There's a quiet storm brewing in Detroit, one that most of the league isn't talking about. While many teams stumble through uncertain quarterback battles, contract drama, or coaching turnover, the Lions have taken a different route. They've stayed calm, worked in silence, and built something that feels ominously complete. No distractions, no gimmicks, just a laser-focused football team, sharpening every edge with a single goal in mind, finishing what they started. After a 15-win season that ended in heartbreak, lesser franchises might have unraveled. Not Detroit. They didn't sulk, and they didn't panic. They doubled down. Every decision this offseason has been intentional. No splashy headlines, no desperate moves. They fortified the trenches. They addressed weaknesses in the secondary. They added depth through the draft, not just to patch holes, but to raise the ceiling of an already championship-ready roster. Even before training camp has begun in full, there's a different energy in the air. Pads haven't popped yet, but make no mistake, the tone is set. This isn't a team returning to compete. It's a team returning to dominate. But what truly separates this iteration of the Lions isn't just grit or culture. It's evolution. And nowhere is that more apparent than on the offensive side of the ball. Despite losing offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, a move that would derail most teams, the Lions' offense hasn't regressed. It's matured. And a big reason for that growth is Jahmyr Gibbs. Detroit didn't draft Gibbs just to run the ball. They drafted him to break defenses. The plan this season? Set him loose. Not just between the tackles, but everywhere. He's motioning wide, lining up in the slot, drawing mismatches, and becoming the exact kind of problem defensive coordinators hate to solve. He's no longer just a running back. He's a hybrid threat, a weapon, a chess piece that forces defenses into checkmate before the snap even happens. The moment he pulls a linebacker out wide in coverage, that's 6 points waiting to happen. Gibbs himself recently admitted, "I'm lining up outside way more than before." Last season, he caught 52 passes for 500 yards, and that was just the beginning. Now the playbook is expanding, and so is his role. Detroit is teaching him wide receiver routes, they're motioning him into space, and with David Montgomery still pounding defenses inside, the Lions have the luxury to move Gibbs without compromising the offense's balance. They can create mismatches on demand, without ever tipping their hand. Behind Gibbs and Montgomery, the backfield has depth and identity. Sione Vaki, entering his second season, brings a defensive toughness and special teams grit that translates to hard-earned snaps. Craig Reynolds? He's the kind of reliable, mistake-free runner every great team needs in December. This stable allows Detroit to stay versatile and dangerous. They can deploy Gibbs wherever he's most lethal, knowing the rest of the offense remains intact. But one person who makes this entire operation run is Jared Goff, and that's where things get both fascinating and a little controversial. Goff was never supposed to be here, not in the eyes of the national media at least. After his exit from Los Angeles, most wrote him off as a system quarterback with a limited ceiling. But something changed in Detroit. He didn't just find a new team, he found a new version of himself. NFL coaches and executives, many of whom have no connection to the Lions, recently ranked him as the 8th best quarterback in the league. That's not Detroit spin, that's league-wide respect. Last season, Goff threw for 4,629 yards, 37 touchdowns, and just 12 interceptions. His QBR? A stellar 68.4, good for 6th in the NFL. Those aren't game manager numbers. That's a quarterback taking over games, not simply surviving them. NFC coaches have praised his pocket poise, his ability to reset his feet and deliver on target even under pressure. AFC defensive coordinators have highlighted his accuracy and calm decision-making. One anonymous coach went as far as calling him one of the best pure passers in the league. This is no longer about potential or past accomplishments. Jared Goff is operating at an elite level, and the Lions are winning because of it, not in spite of him. Still, even with those numbers, the national conversation isn't always kind. Some evaluators even placed Baker Mayfield above Goff in recent quarterback rankings, which sparked frustration among Detroit fans. One has a Super Bowl appearance and a career resurgence, the other is still fighting to prove he belongs. But let's be clear, Goff isn't just fitting into the system, he is the system now. The most dangerous aspect of the 2025 Detroit Lions isn't the star power, it's the depth. This roster is no longer scrambling to cover weaknesses, it's battling to sort out which talented players won't make the cut. Training camp isn't a time to plug gaps anymore, it's a war for roster spots. Every position group is locked in a quiet, brutal competition. And it starts with the tight ends. Sam Laporta and Brock Wright have locked down the top 2 roles, no questions asked. But the third tight end slot remains a puzzle. Kenny Yeboah brings the blue-collar skill set, blocking, special teams, and physicality. Shane Weiler, meanwhile, offers more polish as a pass catcher. It's a contrast of styles, one who clears paths, one who moves chains. The decision may seem minor, but in a Lions offense that thrives on flexibility, the final tight end slot could tilt the offensive balance in subtle but significant ways. On the defensive side, the tension only grows. The interior of the defensive line is loaded with uncertainty.
Alan McNeil is recovering from injury and may not return until mid-season. Levi Onwuzurike enters what feels like a make-or-break year after years of injury setbacks. Broderick Martin is fighting to secure his roster spot, and while rookie Tyleik Williams offers intriguing upside, he's still raw. All of this puts tremendous pressure on veteran DJ Reader not only to hold the line but lead it. Detroit's defensive front could be deep and dominant, or fragile and exposed, depending entirely on health and development. And that theme, fragility versus potential, carries into one of the most watched training camp battles of all, the center position battle. With Frank Ragnow stepping away from football, second-round pick Tate Ratledge is being positioned as the long-term replacement. But for now, he's locked in a battle with Graham Glasgow, the veteran who brings steadiness and experience. If Ratledge seizes the job, it signals a breakthrough. It means Detroit found a foundational piece right out of the gate. It also means this offensive line, even without Ragnow, could gel early and build rhythm before week 1. But here's the complication. Ratledge still hasn't signed his rookie deal. Until that's resolved, the competition is frozen, and the most high-stakes position battle in camp remains a waiting game. The wild card in all of this is health, especially on defense. On paper, this unit looks better than it has in years. Aiden Hutchinson is entering year 3 as one of the NFL's most disruptive edge defenders. DJ Reader offers veteran leadership on the interior, and once Alan McNeil returns, that trio could form a front few teams are equipped to handle. But durability is everything. Last year proved how quickly potential can become panic if the second unit is forced to carry the load. Fortunately for Detroit, their secondary has evolved from a liability into a legitimate strength. Brian Branch has become the defensive X-factor, versatile, instinctual, and explosive. He can play the slot, roam as a safety, or even crash the box as a run defender. That versatility gives Detroit options on every down. Across from him, Kirby Joseph provides the ball skills and deep range to complete the back end. And if young corners like Terrion Arnold and Anis Rakenstraw continue to develop, this secondary could transform into one of the league's most balanced. Veterans like Amick Robertson and DJ Reed give the group reliability and depth, a luxury the Lions haven't had in years. Yet, despite all this momentum, national coverage has largely overlooked what's brewing in Detroit. Bleacher Report called the Lions losers of the offseason. The Athletic projected regression in 2025. Their reasons? Staff turnover, offensive line questions, uncertainty around sustaining success. Ben Johnson is gone. Aaron Glenn took another job. Frank Ragnow retired. Kevin Zeitler moved on. On paper, it paints a picture of instability. But those narratives ignore one key truth. This team wasn't built on one coach or one Pro Bowl lineman. It was built on culture, continuity, and depth. The core is intact. Jared Goff is playing the best football of his career. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Sam Laporta make up one of the league's most balanced receiving cores. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs complement each other with thunder and lightning. And the tackle duo of Penei Sewell and Tekler Decker remains one of the NFL's most formidable. And on defense, Hutchinson is ascending, Branch is a rising star, and the secondary is no longer a weakness, it's a weapon. So now the question flips. Are the media simply repeating last year's mistake, underestimating a team that doesn't need flash to be great? Or is there something real behind the doubts? Can Jared Goff carry this roster all the way to a Super Bowl? Will Ratledge sign in time to anchor the line? And does this team have the durability to survive a 17-game grind? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we're breaking it all down. And don't go far because the Hall of Fame game preview is just around the corner.